I've been a hobby woodworker for most of my life, and you'd think I had all of the stuff figured out by now, but I keep making new mistakes every once in a while, and I'd like to share one with you to hopefully save you some aggravation and money. Several years ago, I decided to send most of my router bits out for sharpening to Forest Manufacturing Company, same guys that make the saw blades. This is not a knock on Forest. I love their saw blades. They're top quality. Their sharpening is great, but my mistake that I think they should have warned me about is that a lot of router bits are not meant to be sharpened. And I called around a few other router bit manufacturers or router bit sharpening companies to get different opinions, and they all seem to agree. The only way to sharpen these bits really is to sharpen the inside face. And the result of that in many cases is that the diameter is reduced. So for something like this here that's supposed to be a 3/4 inch straight bit, after sending it out for sharpening and get the maximum diameter, it's about 0.73, a little bit under 3/4. So this no longer really works for cutting 3/4 inch dados. I would need to trim off a little extra. Same thing with this 1 inch bit. This 3/4 inch bit is now not quite exactly the same diameter as the 3/4 inch bearing on the end. And same with this pattern bit. It's really annoying with pattern bits because then your patterns are a little bit different size than the output. And some of the real heartbreakers was this expensive, I don't remember how much it cost, over $100 rail and style set that's supposed to made up for making, like raised panel doors and stuff. And now because of the change in the profile, I can't get these to close up anymore. So there's no way to fix that. What's happening is that the top of this curve is hitting the top of that curve and preventing it from closing. There's no way to fix that on the bit, so these things need to go in the trash. I'm going to have to order some new ones. And these need to go in the trash, to reiterate, after I paid to have them sharpened, because I paid to have them sharpened. So that's something I wish I would have thought of before. A few other minor inconveniences are that like the round over bits that have bearings are a slightly thinner diameter on the bottom right there, so the result is that ends up being a little bit of a lip on the bottom of the cut there, like a little sharp edge. Not too bad, nothing I can't sand off, so I'm probably going to keep this until it starts to bother me, but that would be annoying if I was trying to make 1 inch dowels or something by rounding the edges on a 1 inch piece of stock. And I have a lock miter bit that no longer quite works because the part marked in red there is a little bit too high. It's still 45 degrees, but these things don't quite close up all the way, so the joint wiggles. After I planed that down, I ended up with a pretty tight joint on this one. I just had to take a scraper to it and do a little work. It still works out okay, but it requires some manual work after the cut. And then on this guy right here, by sharpening that face and sharpening that face back, what I end up now is when I do these core box bits, I end up with a ridge in the bottom there that doesn't get cut out, so that normally white side bits will leave a really smooth finish. It doesn't require much, if any, sanding. Now I have a ridge there that I'm going to have to use a little bit coarser sandpaper than I'd like to use to get rid of it. So all in all, I paid several $100s to have all of these sharpened, and the end result is that I have to throw most of those out and then spend another several $100s to buy new ones. Most of these are still usable, but a lot of these are not. So that is just something to keep in mind if you're looking through your collection of old bits. If you don't absolutely need to sharpen it, don't do it. If you have rail and style bits, you probably don't want to sharpen them at all, and just keep in mind how the grinding the face down is going to affect the performance and diameter of your bit in the future. Hope this helps. Good luck.